Rick, last week, you admitted to me that Clinton had sold our uranium to Russia.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't fucking know.
Our plutonium.
No.
No, you admitted that.
No, I didn't. That's complete. I
All
don't
right.
want to turn shit over again.
All right.
No. The deal is, Clinton signed a treaty when she was Secretary of State that had been negotiated for 10 years, and possibly with parts of it going back to 1993.
I thought you didn't want to talk about this. Listen.
You just totally lied about what I said. You signed.
You admitted that she signed a document selling our plutonium to Russia.
No, that's entirely wrong.
But I showed you the document.
No, I looked at the document. I read articles about the document. She didn't sell our plutonium to Russia. That's complete and 100%.
If I find the document, will you kill yourself? Because that's what I want.
Sure. No, I won't kill myself, but I will slice myself open with, you've got a bunch of sharp shit here.
All right, here we go.
She didn't sell our plutonium.
Turn off the camera.
No, wait, so the deal here is I cut myself open if Hillary Clinton sold our plutonium to Russia.
Okay.
That's right? That's the wager here?
Sure.
Okay, sure. Turn off the camera.
Okay.
This is BoJack Horseman. He's my spirit animal. My daughter got it for me because it's a bootleg shirt she bought on Etsy. It says famous in the 90s. Because BoJack was a sitcom star in the 90s with his sitcom Horsing Around. So she bought an unofficial BoJack shirt. When it came, it was postmarked Russia. She had no idea she was buying from Russia. But
so your daughter was colluding with the Russians?
Apparently.
By the way, what is your Twitter number? How can somebody follow you on Twitter?
At Dumbass Genius. DUMBASS Genius.
And
all one word.
And they'll see that as your avatar, right?
Well, in the first season of BoJack, you could send them your picture, and they would send you a drawing of you as a BoJack character, and they thought I looked like a sheep. So if you go to Twitter, my Twitter little picture is me standing next to BoJack as a sheep.
How many tweets have you done?
Probably pushing 40,000.
40,000.
At 20 words per tweet, that's 800,000 words, which is the equivalent of 8 very thick novels.
Wow. And so your tweets are pretty anti-Trump. Are you ever afraid that the...
Yes, sometimes I'm afraid. Yeah. I mean, I think about, like, Jesus Christ, like if some of people's most extreme thoughts about the Trump presidency come true, then yeah, that could put me at risk. But then I think America is healthier than that, and I hope so.
I have a dear friend of mine who also is very anti-Trump, but she puts "fuck you, Trump" and blah blah, and it's like it takes. I don't know. I think it's pretty ballsy to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably should back off, just for the sake of my family.
Is there anything else about Twitter when Twitter first came out, I heard there was some guy that was in jail. He had been arrested, like in, I want to say, China or Japan or something like that, and it was because he posted on Twitter that he was arrested that they were able to get him out. Did you hear that story or something like that when Twitter first came out?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard that when there were one of the Egyptian revolutions, that it was facilitated by social media, including Twitter, that the ruling regime that they were rebelling against was restricting information, and that social media was used to help people stay informed and helped the revolution be successful. For a while, then it turned around. I don't know how many turnarounds they've had in the past 10 years.
How do you feel about Trump using Twitter, social media to get his... I mean, he tweets all the time.
Yeah, he set a new record a day or two ago, 142 tweets or retweets. And I don't know, like he threatens people on Twitter. He does stuff that if he weren't the president, it would get him thrown off of Twitter, at least for, sometimes they kick you all the way off, sometimes they kick you off for 30 days, sometimes for a week. Yeah, he gets away with more on Twitter than other people would tweeting the same stuff.
So you have people like Alyssa Milano, Judd Apatow, that also tweet very anti-Trump stuff. What do you ever tweet stuff at them, or have you ever had contact with them?
No. I mean, if I get a like from somebody with a recognizable name, I'm very happy.
When there's a pin, when you pin a tweet, what does that mean?
You just pick your very most favorite tweet at the time, and then you stick it at the top of your Twitter feed. So if they go to your page, that'll be the first tweet somebody sees.
What is yours? What is your?
It just tells people that I published, self-published, if you want to call it that, like, I don't know, probably 15,000 words of my autobiography as a long string of tweets of, I don't know, many hundreds, maybe over 1,000. I don't remember, but a bunch of tweets. So you could just follow the tweets and read the whole frickin' thing.
Nice.
Till I ran out of stuff to write about.
What's the most likes you've ever had on a tweet?
I don't know, but this is too much about me and Twitter. Lance, did you find anything? Because I can tell you what the Plutonium Treaty was. It was that each side, the U.S. and Russia,
We did this last week.
Yeah, but
all I have to do is prove to you that Hillary approved a deal to sell plutonium to Russia, and you'll kill yourself.
No, I will slice myself. Here's the knife, though it's dirty. I don't know if I want to use this, and I'll take my shirt off.
I want it to be dirty.
No, you don't get to. I get to use a clean knife. But the deal is, the treaty was.
No, you don't get to filibuster.
What do you mean? I get to say what it fucking is, because there is no other plutonium treaty. Each side would take 17 metric tons, roughly 37,500 pounds of weapons-grade plutonium.
You said this last week. We're going to lose the last 6 people listening.
But you say you claimed that there's some treaty where we sell plutonium to Russia, and there fucking isn't. There absolutely isn't.
That was the deal.
It wasn't the deal. Each side would degrade weapons-grade plutonium that taken from decommissioned nuclear weapons and turn it into non-weapons grade plutonium.
No, in 2013, Rosatom, the Russian energy company, was allowed to work with, I don't remember the word, what the exact word is, you work with it.
Enrich.
They were allowed to enrich 20% of America's
uranium.
Yeah.
Uranium is not the same as fucking plutonium.
And Clinton signed the deal.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did.
She did not. You can't find it because she didn't sign the deal. And
I found it
just
every week. I keep taking it off my desktop because I think you understand.
No, it didn't happen. You're lying. You're severely misguided. Hillary Clinton signed a plutonium deal where each side, and I've said it so many times now, would degrade weapons-grade plutonium.
Right, and that in 2013, Rosatom would get to enrich 20% of the U.S.'s uranium.
But that doesn't mean that she sold plutonium to Russia. She didn't. It's a different element. She didn't sell plutonium to Russia. I don't have to slash myself. You can't find it because it doesn't exist. You've been looking for I don't know how long now, but you can't find it. It doesn't exist.
Because
it didn't happen.
I found her signature on the Uranium One deal 16 times.
No, you didn't. You never found it. You found Hillary's signature on one deal. It was the Plutonium Treaty. You've never, ever
That treaty had a codicil in it saying
no, it didn't. Some lunatic
saying that Rosatom would get 20% of our uranium in 2013. for doing
It
this.
didn't. Some
It did
lunatic
say that. No, it
suggested
wasn't a
that.
lunatic. It was the UN report.
You've
last
never. That's a UN report. That's not the
It was
treaty.
the UN report on the treaty. And I never found the treaty because it may not be a public document.
You found the treaty word about plutonium with her signature.
I did.
But that doesn't mean that she sold our plutonium to Russia. That's completely
Well, she
wrong.
sold our uranium to Russia and they could make plutonium out of it, right?
No,
You can't make plutonium from uranium?
you can, but that wasn't the fucking deal.
That was the deal. They were selling
You're
20%
You're a
of our
fucking
uranium.
asshole. Then I mean that's ridiculous.
They were selling 20% of our uranium to Russia.
No, they were allowing Russia
Rosatom
to
to
process
but
to
then-
do some of the
but it-
enrichment
yeah,
on
but
some
it-
of the uranium.
Right, and that's not American foreign policy. That's not what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, but you wanted me to slash myself when you showed that Hillary sold our plutonium to Russia.
Well, she sold our uranium,
She
which
didn't.
they could turn into plutonium.
Well, that's not the fucking deal.
How do you know the Russians weren't going to make plutonium out of the uranium?
You can make beryllium. You can split. You can make any element out of any other fucking element if you bombard it with neutrons and shit.
Yeah, but it's easier to make plutonium out of uranium. And
But that's not what the bet was about. She didn't sell our plutonium to Russia.
She sold our uranium to Russia. Though,
She didn't do that fucking either.
She allowed the Rosatom.
She didn't do that. She didn't have anything to do with
Yeah, she
that
signed the
deal.
deal. She made it legal.
didn't sign the fucking deal.
She did sign it.
Oh my God, you're such a fucking asshole about this. It's not
She did.
true.
She
It's
signed the
not
deal. She
true.
signed the deal. In fact, I'll tell you what. Let's turn the camera off. We'll spend all week, and I'll try to find her signature.
No, let's
on the
move
document.
on. Because you've spent half an hour trying to find this
Because
deal
they-
that doesn't exist.
It's called the Rosatom deal for the plutonium. That's the deal. It's the uranium.
It's not
one
called the
deal.
Rosatom deal for the plutonium. In 2010, as Secretary of State,
In April of 2010, she signed a deal that would allow Rosatom to get control of 20% of her
No, that
uranium.
waswe part
in
of it.
2013, it was part of it.
No, you read some stupid string on
No,
Twitter.
I actually read that. We have a TV show we did a year ago where I did find it, and since then that document has vanished from the internet.
Yeah, but that document was
I
about
could watch our
plutonium.
own show.
No, you didn't. All you did was find her signature on.
A document selling plutonium to the
It
Russians.
didn't sell. It was the
Selling our
2010.
uranium to the Russians.
No, just no. None of this
Yes,
happened.
yes.
None of this
Yes,
happened.
yes, it did.
You found her signature on the plutonium deal to decommission plutonium.
And to sell
No,
uranium
that
in
wasn't part of the
2014.
deal.
This isn't
It
going
had-
anywhere. Turn off the camera. Or change subjects.
Yeah,
This
can we
is
just-
going nowhere.
can
We
you-
No,
got-
it's just,
no, we have to consider our
Can you
people.
finish your thought in terms of the Ukrainian issue with Biden? You were saying that Biden needs to be investigated.
Yes.
and you were going to show me this article that shows Joe Biden had some deal in every place that he's ever fucking. Anyway, let's.
Okay, I'll do that.
Everybody's been gotten.
Well, what's the next topic?
Let's just cut this whole part out.
No, fucking,
We went
because you're
over last
insisting
week.
on. Yeah, but you're insisting. You totally misrepresented what I said. All right. And the truth. You misrepresented that too.
No, if you refuse to
No,
accept that she made this deal, then you're living in a dream world.
No, it's been debunked a million times.
It hasn't been debunked. You never debunked it.
Which part?
That she sold 20%
She
of our uranium.
did. You can read the language.
Yeah, I
even
read
in
it. I read it.
So anyway, you don't.
You're the only person in America that
No.
doesn't know this is you.
You love to say that, but what? Now, not that many people have looked at Uranium One, but of the people who've looked at it, the majority, I would say, the majority of the people who've looked at it know that it's bullshit. What's the next fucking
Well,
topic?
I was just gonna. We can just finish up with the Biden thing, and
He's going to find me an article, but in the meantime, let's do another fucking topic.
Okay, so in terms of impeachment, the second article of impeachment is obstruction of Congress, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of clever what the shift did in terms of not calling, because if they would have called Bolton, it would have taken like forever and a day, right, to go through the courts and shit, right?
Apparently, yeah.
And so if it goes to go to the Senate, they can just subpoena Bolton, and I think that was a smart move by Schiff, in the sense that now they go to the Senate and they can subpoena without having to go to the courts and get Bolton into the Senate and not have to. So, I mean, do you think there should be witnesses based on that?
It's all, I mean, the cliche term is kabuki theater. It's all fucking, everybody knows that almost all the Republican senators will vote to acquit Trump. And nobody is seriously trying to flip enough Republican senators to get Trump kicked out of office. The idea is just to make the best case for Trump being guilty of this stuff so that the Republicans who vote to acquit him look bad, and it reduces Trump's chances of getting reelected. That's just the whole fucking thing. And I don't think anybody is seriously going to dispute that.
That's a pretty good point.
So so there's not a lot to argue about there.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe there is. But anyway, Lance is looking up other shit. What's the next thing? All right, here, let's talk about this. Okay. Today was the sad day that Kobe and his daughter and 7 other people died in a helicopter crash.
Mm-hmm.
And even before this happened, I've been thinking about mortality and what's going to happen to mortality in the future. And I think in the future that there will be...
How far to the future would you say?
Starting 10 years from now and
extending... In the year 2030!
No, come on. All right, no, I agree, I think, with Lance that...
sorry.
It's just... starting 10 years from now and improving in power over the next 200 years is going to be technology to replicate consciousness, to be to help you continue being yourself even as your brain degrades, to replace your brain with other technology, either biocircuitry or what, I don't know exactly what, that will help you live beyond the lifespan of your brain and body. And we have technology now that is so bad that we don't even consider it technology. And we're correct not to think of it as technology. But the deal is, in the Jewish religion, at least the flavor of Judaism that I'm most familiar with, there's no afterlife. You live on in the minds of people who remember you. And even as you hear it, you're like, well, that's a shitty fucking afterlife. That's that small consolation. You're dead. And that's it. That's all you get is people remembering you. There's a thing that I think will come into existence, which is percent fidelity, which is an index of how much of your consciousness, of how much of your memories and your thought patterns are perpetuated or carried on by technology that allows you to keep on being and thinking even after your brain starts going to shit. And the percent fidelity of the Jewish afterlife, of people remembering you, is not zero. Your thoughts and memories are carried on by the people who remember you. But the percent is so much less than 1%. It's so minuscule, probably less than 1/10 of 1%, that it doesn't count for fucking anything. but it is a technology. It's carried on. We pass on our thoughts to our memories, our attitudes to other people by talking to them and living with them. That, you know, my wife, I've lived with her since 87, so 33 years. So she knows me well, and my being will carry on to some tiny extent due to her memories of mine, but it doesn't mean that I won't have conscious experience. When I'm dead, my consciousness goes away, and there's very little of me left except for this tiny, tiny fraction of a percent that's carried on via her memories of who I was and what I was about. But as we move into the future, there will be actual AI that will learn to mesh and think along. Like if you could set up Bluetooth technology or wireless technology so that people could understand each other's thoughts, brain to brain, and you kept this on so that they could use each other's brains to think with each other, that you have two brains thinking together. And there will be technology that's somewhat like this. There's already technology being developed that allows people to control stuff with their thoughts, that people can learn, and AI working in conjunction with people can learn to send to think thoughts that will make stuff happen outside their brain. So the technology will get better, and people will eventually be able to share thoughts in more direct ways than just saying what their thoughts are and having people hear them. And as the technology, so if you had two people who had linked brains for 12 years, if one person died, the patterns of that person's thoughts would be perpetuated to some extent in the brain of the person who lived on. Or if there were a box that helped you think, and you used this box and you shared thoughts with the box for 12 years, and you died, the box would, to some extent, be able to carry on and experience the world as you to some percent. And if you look at current percent fidelity of just our brains, of how well our brains preserve ourselves, ourself, from day to day, from week to week, it's not 100% fidelity. We forget a lot of stuff, or it's somewhere in there, but we can't access it. We can't. Most of the stuff we've experienced, we can't call up. If I ask you what you did on January 11th, 2012, you can't recall that. And unless you kept a diary, our system of recall means that most of what happened to us is opaque to us. But we're okay with it because we're used to the functioning of our brains, and it would be ridiculous if we were constantly freaking out about how shitty our brains are. So there's absolute 100% fidelity to each brain state in the past. But we don't have that. And I don't know how you'd even calculate the percent fidelity that a natural brain has on average. But eventually we will develop technologies that will eventually challenge the percent fidelity of our own natural hardware. Okay. Also, so then let's also talk about helicopters.
Real quick, Blanche, are you ready? Or
Yeah, I have some.
Maybe we should, and then we'll go
Okay,
back.
yeah.
All right. All right. So here's the background, okay? In 2010, a deal was made between,
Wait, we're back to uranium fucking one?
yeah, just listen. You said you weren't going to interrupt me. Would you just be quiet now, Rick?
Mhm.
In 2010, a deal was made that was signed by the U.S. government with Hillary Clinton as the signature, deaccessioning plutonium. Okay, this is the deal that Rick said happened, where we were supposed to get rid of some of our plutonium. And the company that was going to do the job was Rosatom, okay, which is the same as Uranium One. They're the same company. Rosatom is the Russian company that owns Uranium One. Now, as part of that deal, I maintain, though Rick doesn't believe me, that in 2013, Rosatom would get permission to control 20% of the U.S.'s uranium in order to do what they want with it. Ostensibly, it would be to treat it, I keep forgetting the word,
Enrich
it, but
find the fraction. Find the fraction.
Please
of it.
don't.
No.
Stop. They were allowed to get possession of this uranium, this American uranium, in 2013. That is what I maintain. Rick doesn't believe that. Now, and this is the deal that Hillary Clinton signed. That is my position. Now, this is a letter published by, this is a United States document. This is a United States government document. This document came from the Congress, okay? It's a government document dated January 2013, the year that I said that would happen. This is from the American U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. This was a letter from Uranium One, or Rosatom. It was regarding the Willow Creek Project, the Moore Ranch Project, the Jabin Antelope Project, the Luderman Project, and well logging equipment. These are the companies that own 20% of our uranium. Okay? Those are the American companies that have our uranium. This letter is from Rosatom. This letter is to the Decommissioning and Uranium Recovery Licensing Directorate. That is the directorate that controlled the decommissioning of the plutonium that Rick thinks happened. Dear Mr. Persinko and Mr.
Plutonium in
Torres,
this letter anyplace?
this letter is written to inform the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission of a proposed transaction between Uranium One and ARMS. ARMS is the name for the Russian company. Okay? ARMS is, later explains, is the Russian company. Included below, find a description of the proposed transaction and a discussion of the effect of the proposed transaction. Okay. Uranium One USA will be licensed to sell to ARMS, a Russian company.
Wait.
Stop there.
So
Okay, go
that
on.
paragraph. You said,
You can read it carefully. Well, what do you think it's about?
well, I got it.
Okay, you read it.
So you want to summarize what it reads?
It says they can buy the uranium from these American companies, these American mines.
Hold on. Just
It
this
says
was-
that they propose to.
And this was based on the document that Hillary
This is a
signed.
government document that I believe Hillary approved of in 2010.
Perfect.
that this would be the
Why don't you-
proposal in 2013.
You want to shut it down so I have time to read this?
Well,
Or you
Rick
want to
had-
talk about something else while I
Wait a
read
minute,
this?
I wanted to talk about the impeachment. Can you ask me the same questions you asked
Yes,
Rick?
of course. So let's suppose that,
All right, I'm just going to tell you.
yeah, just go for it.
I've been saying this all along. Biden was bribed by the Ukrainians. He was bribed because him, and it looks like John Kerry, if you recall, was the Secretary of State under Obama. His son was also involved in a deal. Trump was telling the Ukrainians that he would like them to investigate the deal with Burisma that Hunter Biden made, because Biden was being bribed. That's it. He had a perfect right to do this. The United States, under Trump, was supplying the Ukrainians with weaponry. So there was no reason to say that Trump held up or didn't give a deal to the Ukrainians. It doesn't make any sense. So you can't impeach him for breaking off, for leaving the Ukraine helpless against Russia. That's what Obama did.
So they say, the Democrats say that there is, that all the, in terms of the fact that Hunter Biden had no experience in
No,
Burisma.
of course.
And they say it's already been resolved and people have looked into it, but has any
There's never been any investigation of it whatsoever.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was not debunked.
Mhm.
And we have it turns out that the Ukrainians didn't even know that the aid was being held up. So you can't make a deal. You can't say that they were being blackmailed because they didn't even know the deal was being held up.
Well, people disagree. People say,
Well,
of course they
but
do.
the Ukrainian government is on Trump's side. The Ukrainian government says they didn't know. And unfortunately, I have to take the side of the Ukrainian government. The Ukrainian government says they didn't know. Trump says they didn't know. The aid was being held up because Trump, as part of his election platform, was going to re-examine all foreign aid. So foreign aid was held up for 54 days, while Trump evaluated the new president to see if he was sincere about fighting corruption. We did the same thing in Afghanistan and several other countries.
Okay, I've scanned this deal. So there's no plutonium mentioned in this at all.
No, but there's uranium. Those are uranium mines.
And yeah, okay, there are uranium mines.
Yes.
And simply stated, the uranium recovery and milling process utilized at the facilities result in a uranium concentrate powder commonly called yellow cake, which does not pose a high security risk, is of low strategic significance, and does not impact the availability of special nuclear material for military needs. It's not bomb stuff.
But they could make it into bomb stuff.
Additionally,
But they could make it into bomb stuff. This is their argument in favor of going ahead with the deal. Now you're on the side of Rosatom.
no,
You're colluding with the Russians.
No, additionally, as was previously stated, there's no, before the licensee may export uranium to a foreign country, they must first comply with the National Nuclear Regulatory Commission's regulations and seek a specific license for such purpose.
Which Hillary agreed to.
There's no evidence that she had anything to.
She signed the CFIUS deal of 2010. The CFIUS agreed to allow this to go through in April 2010. He's following up in January 2013. He's following up. This is what the deal was about. They're going to decommission the plutonium, and Rosatom.
Plutonium is not mentioned in here at all.
Right, because that already occurred. That was already agreed to. Now 3 years have passed, and he's going after the uranium.
But we didn't sell any plutonium to that.
Rick, I don't care.
Oh, but
This is the
that's
follow-up. You
all
don't
right.
have
So
to
no. Hold on. So all right. Uranium One does not believe this proposed 2013 transaction raises new issues related to the common defense.
Right, because they already agreed to it in 2010. Why is he saying this, Rick? Use that magnificent brain. Why is he proposing this
Well,
now?
hold on a second.
Why do you think he's got the nerve
I
to
haven't read
propose
this part,
this?
so just hold on. Shut it down for a second. Let me just read undistracted. No.
No, wait a minute.
No, I get to read it.
No, you can read it. You can read it. In addition, Armas, that's the Russian, okay, listen to this. Based on the above analysis, those were the excuses Rick was making why they should get the uranium, which remains true in all respects with respect to the proposed 2013 transaction. Uranium One does not believe that the proposed 2013 transaction raises new issues relating to the common defense and security or health and safety of the public interest that have not already been addressed in detail as part of the NRC's review of the 2010 transaction. The 2010 transaction that Hillary agreed to. This is the follow-up in 2013 mentioned in the 2010 transaction that Hillary signed.
Get the knife.
No. Because it's still bullshit. All right, shut it
They
down. Let me
even
read it.
mentioned-
Let me fucking read it without people. Just shut it down. It's just going to be.
Shut it down.
Sorry.
Don't lose that.
Let me just make sure, all right?
Okay, you can't,
Okay,
and I
all
don't
right.
want to read it too.
All right.
All right, hang on.
We're not rolling yet?
No,
Nope.
no.
Oh, all right. Rolling.
All right, here's what I claim. Lance has been talking about this 2010 transaction as if it turns out more than one thing can happen in the year 2010. This document mentions there are various entities, mines and the owners of the mines, and Rosatom and former names of Rosatom. Anyway, there was a transaction involving these parties in December 2010 where a bunch of shit was negotiated. And that's what they're referring to later in this document. They're not referring to the plutonium document that was signed by Hillary in April 2010, which has nothing to do with this.
Except, I'm sorry, on page 5, the second to the last paragraph, it states, in addition, in August 2010, that's August 2010, Armas, that's the Russian company, filed a notification with the Committee on Foreign Investment, CFIUS, of which Hillary Clinton was the head, regarding the 2010 transaction in CFIUS.
What is CFIUS?
CFIUS is the committee that she was the head of.
No, wait, is that the one consisting of
The
9?
Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States.
She wasn't on that committee.
She was. She's the Secretary of State. She had to be.
No.
Wait. The Secretary of State is on the Committee for Foreign Investment in the United States. CFIUS. That's what she was on. And in 2010, they made an agreement with ARMAS. This is referring to that.
Yeah.
That's the agreement. That's the agreement. The U.S.-Russia agreement. ARMAS and CFIUS. August 2010.
Yeah, regarding this.
They didn't need to make a deal over Kazakhstan. This was a deal between the United States and ARMAS in 2010.
All right, we can look up CFIUS and see who was on.
Oh, okay. Let's look up CFIUS. I'm going to ask a question. And afterwards, I want you dead. Do you understand? I want you dead. Okay. Was Clinton on CFIUS? Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State was on, listen to this, Hillary Clinton was on the known as the Committee on Foreign Investments in the United States
So,
as Secretary of State.
no, let's read the fucking article.
I don't want to read the whole
Because
article.
I didn't see a sentence that said she was on.
The Secretary of State is always on CFIUS.
Where does it say that? You know so much about CFIUS.
Turn off the camera.
Okay.
No,
This.
I'm ruining it. I'm losing it.
Okay, turn it back on.
Secretary-
All right.
Is the sec?
So
No.
turn it back fucking on. Because I found
It's on,
a
it's on.
sentence.
It just-
You deleted the article because it has a sentence in there that says that some stuff isn't even pulled up to the CFIUS level,
No, she had to sign it.
and that it's generally stuff.
Okay, here it is.
It's generally handled at the undersecretary
no.
or assistant secretary.
Actually, no, she had to sign it. Okay, listen to me.
Then where's this?
Okay, all right, here it is. Listen to this, guys. This is from Wikipedia, all right? The committee, hang on. Now, turn it off. I'm going to find out who's on the committee.
Okay, turn it off.
Yeah, turn it off. Wikipedia, first paragraph. The Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, CFIUS, is an interagency committee in the United States government that reviews the national security implications of foreign investments in the U.S., in U.S. companies or operations, chaired by the United States Secretary of the Treasury. CFIUS includes representatives from 16 U.S. departments and agencies, including the Defense, State, and Commerce departments.
Okay, so a representative from her department.
But she has to sign it because she's the representative from state.
No, she's not
She's
the
in
representative.
charge of state. She's in charge of the State Department.
Yeah, but if
She is the
you
signature.
you deleted an article that said that CFIUS stuff is generally addressed by an undersecretary or an assistant.
She had to agree to this. She is the Secretary of State. She is on CFIUS.
No, you can't
The
find it.
Secretary of State is on CFIUS.
It doesn't say
It
that.
says here representatives from the
Yeah.
State Department.
But it doesn't mean that she's the representative.
She's in charge of the State Department.
This is senseless because
No, it isn't
just
senseless.
because a committee involves somebody from her department doesn't mean she has to be that person. And that other article you
Yeah,
quickly
but-
got rid of said that it's generally an undersecretary or an assistant
Yeah, but
secretary.
she signed this deal
She
because
didn't.
she was on CFIUS, and
She wasn't.
She was the signature.
She wasn't.
All right, turn off the camera.
Completely run-of-the-mill article that debunks uranium-1. You know, this article, which our director found, says, no, Hillary Clinton did not give Russia plutonium. Donald Trump has been lying to the public on Hillary Clinton's Russia policy, claiming she gave 20% of our uranium to Russia as Secretary of State because of his own fears of being an illegitimate president and Putin's puppet, according to Vox, which is a liberal-ish, news source. But I mean, there are plenty, if you look up uranium-1, it's debunked in plenty of places in extensive detail. We have another, let's do, I looked up there's this very deceptive statistic on accidents per mile, where passenger jets are the safest way to travel per mile. Because when you get on a jet, you're going at least 300 miles. And then cars driven by individuals are the least safe. And then in the middle, public transportation has 40 times the rate of accidents per mile as passenger jets. Helicopters, 63 times the rate of accidents per mile traveled. And general aviation, little private planes, 210 or so times the number of accidents per mile as passenger jets. And the things that make helicopters unsafe are that single pilot, they fly closer to the ground than jets, so you have less time to fix whatever shit is happening. A steeper glide path. A plane has big wide wings and can glide for a while. Helicopters are tougher to glide into the ground if you lose power. There's a thing called auto-rotating, where you can take the momentum of the propellers themselves as you allow them to spin freely, and then kind of change the pitch just as you get close to the ground to slow down the helicopter to make for a softer landing. But that's a tough thing to, you don't necessarily, that doesn't, when things go wrong, you're not always in a position to do that. And helicopters are kind of more complicated mechanically, that, a plane without power can glide. And then helicopters have these weird control systems. You've got the drivetrain and everything that runs the horizontal propeller, and then you've got another system that runs the vertical control propeller in the tail, and there's just more stuff that can screw up anyway. All right, Joe Rogan. You probably want to listen to this. Joe Rogan earlier this week said that he's probably going to vote for Bernie, which, okay, he's kind of endorsed Bernie. But what came along with that was people started arguing that maybe Joe Rogan isn't the greatest thing for America, his podcast, because he tends, I don't listen to any podcast because I'm old and lazy. I guess he lets anybody on to share their points of view, which includes a lot of people spreading, according to what I read, ridiculous right-wing bullshit. And that made me wonder, are you and I a corrosive presence in the world where, we've spent so much time on this, on what I consider uranium-1 right-wing bullshit. And so it prompts the question, when I argue with you, and you're a good arguer and you beat me when arguing about, some right-wing stuff, are we corrosive? And you could argue the same thing when I get on here and I spend a long time saying my shit. Anyway, So Joe Rogan said who he likes. I'll say who I like.
Oh, is this an endorsement?
I guess so.
Okay. Ooh.
Obviously, I'll vote for anybody on the Democratic side against Trump, except for maybe Tulsi Gabbard, but she's not going to be. It would really suck if she becomes an independent candidate for president. But anyway, I think she's kind of I don't know. I don't know that much about her, but what I've seen makes me. And
Would you vote for a can of orange juice if it was a Democrat over Trump?
Yeah, I mean, Air Bud, sure. Anybody who'd appoint a competent cabinet. But I think, if you look at the polls, the national polls, it looks like Biden would pull the most votes in a one-on-one race against Trump. So I'd be okay with Biden. I'd be okay with Warren. Those are my top two. I know Biden is old, but I believe he would appoint a competent cabinet and would pursue reasonable policies. Ditto for Warren.
But Pete Buttigieg?
Yeah, he'd be okay, but I don't think he would pull as many votes.
Mm-hmm.
He's not, African American people are a huge chunk of the Democratic Party, and he's not super popular with them.
Mm-hmm.
And Biden, people think that he might pull more independents than like a Warren or some of the other candidates.
Mm-hmm.
Got anything?
Lance?
Turn the camera off.
Okay. Rolling?
One of the more fun, Lance is still trying to find stuff, but one of the nice things we do is we have Lance draw or paint somebody while we're arguing. So should we bring in hey, if you want to pose for us, come be on the show. You don't have to get into the arguments. You can, if you're in the LA area or want to come to the LA area, Lance will do a drawing of you, a 2-hour drawing, and we might even kick in a small stipend, a very small stipend. You can be part of the show and and walk away with a nice drawing. And so in the next few weeks, when we get our shit together a little bit, we'll probably put out a casting call to get a model or two. We'll start having models again.
Can be male or female, right?
Yeah, as long as yeah. I mean, no, I don't want to be appearancist, but anyway.
All right. April 13th, 2010. The International Panel on Fissile Materials. On April 13th, 2010, Secretary Clinton and Foreign Minister Lavrov signed the protocol to the 2000 U.S.-Russian Plutonium Management and Disposition Agreement. That's it. According to the State Department press release, she signed it.
Yeah, that's the plutonium the treaty she signed, pact.
And that's the deal I'm talking about.
Yeah, but that's not the deal that they were talking about in that other document.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Well, how do you know that it's not, Rick?
Because I read that other thing.
And it referred to this deal.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
So
she signed it.
PMDA, she signed the plutonium deal.
Yes, that's the deal that was referred to in the previous document.
Well,
do you want me to pull up the previous document?
Pull up the previous document.
Okay, here it is.
So you got to find PMDA.
No, I just have to find that this is referring to the 2000 transaction.
No, that's not it. It refers to
2010.
No, it doesn't.
This is the 2010
It's not.
transaction.
If you look further up in this document, it specifically refers to the 2010 transaction it's talking about, and it's not talking about the plutonium.
It's talking about the transaction that was made between the U.S., between CFIUS. This is it. In
It's
addition,
not.
Uranium One jointly filed a notification regarding the CFIUS 2010 transaction.
It's not. If you go
There's only one CFIUS transaction in 2010 about uranium. This is it.
that wasn't that plutonium pact was not a CFIUS transaction.
It just said so. Yes, it does. It does. Look. Look. This is it. This is it.
No,
This is
there's
the
no CFIUS in here. It's
But Secretary of State signed the transaction in 2010, the Russian Plutonium Management Disposition Agreement.
right, but
That's the CFIUS deal.
it's not. It's just fucking not. It's not. You're wrong.
No,
You're
no,
completely wrong.
wait a minute, Rick. This is the 2010 Plutonium Management Deal. It was signed by Secretary Clinton.
Yeah, but that's not a CFIUS.
This is the letter. This letter is about that deal.
It's not. It's not.
What?
If it was, it would reference this deal. It references a complete.
This is the deal. It's referencing.
You're just flat wrong. You're just wrong.
Turn off the camera.
Okay. Rolling.
All right, let me explain why Rick is confused. Rick doesn't want to believe that the letter written in 2013 refers to the 2010 deal that Hillary Clinton signed. And he says the reason is because on page 2, this letter refers to a deal in 2010 for Kazakhstan. Okay? That's why he's confused.
This thing.
Uh-huh.
The
Yeah.
2010 arms transaction.
In Kazakhstan, right? And that's why you're confused, right? You think that the 2010 deal deals with Kazakhstan, right? Is that what you think, Rick?
No, what are you asking me?
You're saying that this 2010 deal deals with Kazakhstan. And so it's not the deals Hillary signed, right?
Well, this is this deal for, this is the 2010 transaction that's referred to throughout this.
Uh-huh. And you think it's for Kazakhstan, right? That's what it says, Rick. Uranium mines in Kazakhstan. The 2010 transaction, right?
I mean, I think so.
That's your argument. I'm making your argument.
What's
for
my
you.
no? That
Your argument is that that's the deal, right, Rick?
that's the transaction that's
Okay.
referred to
Yes,
throughout
yes,
this
yes.
document.
Except that in the final pages, it refers to the August 2010 deal where there was a notification in a CFIUS case, number 10-40. CFIUS is the United States organization headed by the State Department and the Secretary of Treasury. That's the 2010 deal that Hillary Clinton signed. According to the United States, according to the International Panel on Fissile Materials
CFIUS.
in April 2010.
No, this is a pact signed between Clinton and Russian Minister Lavrov.
That's the CFIUS
It's
deal.
not a CFIUS deal. It's not. CFIUS doesn't show up throughout this at all.
I know it doesn't say that, Rick, but there are not two deals in 2010 that dealt with the protocol of plutonium disposition.
Yeah, there was one deal about plutonium, and then there's the other shit about who owns controlling interest in these various mines.
It's
not the same thing.
Yes, it is.
One's
It is
about
the same thing.
then you're dumb. It's not the
No,
same thing.
no, Rick, I'm not dumb. You're dumb because you can't accept this. This letter refers to a deal in 2010 that was a CFIUS deal.
But the pact between two countries is not CFIUS.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Rick,
One thing is-
Rick, you can't make a deal for plutonium disposition without approval from CFIUS.
That's not
It is a
correct.
banned material. You're not allowed to sell it because it's a strategic material.
They weren't
That's-
selling it.
that-
They weren't
the-
selling
The
it.
disposition of the plutonium, it comes under CFIUS.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. Because each country is holding. Nobody's selling plutonium.
Wait. Don't you think that the Secretary of State had to approve the deal for plutonium disposition?
Yeah, but it's not a CFIUS deal.
That is CFIUS.
No,
The 9 federal agencies that agreed to the deal are CFIUS.
they didn't. CFIUS didn't agree to the plutonium pact.
Yes, they did.
Find it.
It says so right here.
It doesn't.
It says on page 5, the second to the last paragraph.
Where?
It refers to the transaction in the CFIUS case
Yeah.
of 2010.
Yeah, which is reference. This one document is CFIUS and uranium. The other document is Hillary and plutonium, and they don't overlap.
How do you know that?
Because I can read.
Okay. On June 8th, 2010, Uranium One announced it had signed an agreement that would give not less than 51% of the company. This doesn't help. Wait a minute, to Rosatom, the Russian Nuclear Energy Agency. At the time, Uranium One's 2 licensed mining operations in Wyoming amounted to 20% of the currently licensed uranium in situ recovery production capacity of the U.S., according to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission.
Yeah, this is CFIUS and uranium.
And this is CFIUS and uranium.
Yeah, but the
And she
plutonium-
had to sign it.
No, wasn't on CFIUS.
But it says right here. She was the Secretary of State. It says right here, Secretary of State signed this agreement.
Yeah, that's plutonium. Hillary and plutonium, CFIUS and uranium. 2 separate things. 2 separate things.
Hillary is CFIUS. Hillary is the secretary. Wow.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. I'm going to sleep.
All
I'm
right.
going to sleep.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
You'll
you.
have to read Clinton Cash too.
Yeah, I'll have to
Well,
buy the
yeah,
book.
so-
Will you pay for the book as part of our thing? We'll go have these on the book.
We should be able to find it. But I mean, the book is bullshit. But I'll find it.
I need to find the actual document that she signed.
Okay.
'Cause-
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Good night.
You
I'll
know
get
what?
you a copy.
This was a terrible show. This was
No,
insane.
No, it's okay
No,
because
no one's going to want to watch this.
I think the show was great.
Are you still filming?
I am actually.
I mean, it was a lot of yelling about shit we've yelled at before.
No, we've
but-
got 3 weeks in a row because you can't accept something very basic, and it's scary. You have no reason. You're just arguing you're not making any sense. I'm finding you the actual document, the actual letter from the company, but that's not good enough. I found the actual agreement.
Can we we can ask the
Yeah, all
audience
right,
to see
yeah,
if
what
we're
do you
being
think? Do
repetitive?
you want more of this shit, or you want?
No, I want to make sure that you understand this, that she signed this deal.
She signed a plutonium pact.
That's the deal.
It's
That's
not.
the deal.
I mean, there is a plutonium pact. There's a plutonium pact, and then there's a CFIUS agreement.
Okay, I'll read
No,
this.
we're done. We're done. Fucking,
We should give a shout out.
You don't understand English. This is illegal. This letter explains what happened. You've got to read it. This company is now saying that they were part of that previous deal. On page 5, second to the last paragraph, this company was part of that deal, Uranium One.
there was an agreement among companies that one of which or a couple became uranium-1 at some point.
This is the company. This
Okay.
company
Yeah,
agreed.
and that was a
company-
CFIUS agreement
Yeah,
about.
this company
All right.
was part of that deal. It just says it. It says it right here.
Okay, but that's a uranium deal, or it's a couple uranium.
How do
deals.
you know that it was different?
Because
You
one's
you prove that to me. You prove it to me.
one's about plutonium and the other is about uranium.
Okay, how do you know when they refer to the deal that took place in 2010
Because
that it was not the same deal?
because it says what the deal is.
Okay, it
As I
says here,
pointed out a bunch.
in August 2010, ARMAS filed a notification
I know.
with
All right.
CFIUS regarding the 2010 transaction. Now, what was that transaction, Rick?
It involved some mines in Kazakhstan.
No. Why would they file an agreement with our Secretary of State, with the United States, about mines in Kazakhstan, Rick?
They didn't file that with the Secretary
Yes.
of State.
Wait,
Where does it say
why
so?
would they make a deal with CFIUS about mines in another country? CFIUS is American. Why would they be referring to CFIUS?
I don't know. Well, you got
No. You got to answer me. Why would they be referring to the CFIUS deal if it's about mines in Kazakhstan?
Because
Why would the United
because
States
these are.
have to make that agreement?
Oh my God. All right, so let's read the 2010 transaction. We just go up to here. Oops.
I might have got through this time.
No.
I've understood what his confusion is. I said it a half hour ago. He thinks that the 2000 deal in Kazakhstan is the deal referred to, but the letter refers to a 2010 deal in Kazakhstan and one that was made with CFIUS, which is the United States. And he doesn't understand. He won't accept it. Why would this company be talking about a deal with CFIUS, the United States, in their letter where they proposed to get control of American uranium if it wasn't the same company?
Real quick, do you know anything about Q, Lance?
No,
What
let's
is
not.
Q?
Come on. Fucking, it's
No,
2 in the morning.
I think
No.
that I don't believe in that guy.
Okay.
The people that I know that believe in that come up with wild conspiracies. Wild conspiracies.
He posts something every time though, right? Q posts stuff.
You can turn the camera off.
Well, no, here. All right.
Okay.
Let me. This is the 2010 ARMZ transaction.
ARMS means the Russian energy company.
On December 27th, 2010, Uranium One Inc. and our 2010 transaction. December 27th, 2010, Uranium One and ARMZ completed a transaction under which ARMS, through subsidiaries Effective Energy and Uranium Mining Company, acquired approximately 51.5% controlling interest in Uranium One in exchange for $610 million and interest in 2 uranium mines in southern Kazakhstan. 2010 transaction.
Okay.
Oh, so the reason the U.S. is involved in it is that was part of the trade, but that wasn't the only thing going on.
But the U.S.
So in
doesn't own
July 20
mines in Kazakhstan, Rick.
It wasn't just mines in Kazakhstan. In July 2010, Uranium One filed a notice of change of control and ownership information for the 2010 transaction with the Nuclear Regulatory Council. After a thorough review of the 2010 transaction, including detailed inquiries concerning ARMS and its corporate structure, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission approved the change of control by order dated November 23, 2010. On December 27th,
Jesus, right?
Uranium One and ARMS announced completion of the 2010 It's one transaction. It involved, among other things, some mines in Kazakhstan. It involved $610 million in money, and
Why did it have to be approved by CFIUS if it was only Kazakhstan.
Because it wasn't only Kazakhstan, because these companies.
So this is referring to a deal in 2010 that involves American uranium.
Probably.
Definitely. Look, this is the proposal that they're going to have. They're going to start buying from in 2013. This is the deal that made it possible in 2010.
Well, you know what?
Right here. That's why they had to get approval from CFIUS.
Okay. I mean, maybe, but that's fine. That doesn't.
So the Secretary of State signed a deal that would give them the ability to invest in these American mines.
Hillary doesn't have anything to do with this whole thing.
Yes, because she's the head of CFIUS.
She's not.
She's one
You
of
tried.
nine-
I challenged you to find anything that showed Hillary Clinton.
The titular head of CFIUS is the Secretary of Treasury and the other secretaries of the major departments.
It doesn't
Defense
say
and
that.
State.
It doesn't say
Yes,
that.
those are the heads.
No, it says that the Secretary of the Treasury is part of CFIUS.
As
It
is the
says-
Secretary of State.
It doesn't say that. You showed me what it said on Wikipedia and what
No,
it
no,
said.
no, no,
Hold on, because it said in Wikipedia, it said the Secretary of the Treasury is part of CFIUS, as are representatives of certain other departments, including state. There was another article that you quickly deleted that said that CFIUS affairs are, as pertaining to the Department of State, are usually handled by assistant secretaries of
Right,
state or
but
undersecretaries of
That's
state.
true, but she was the head of, she was the person that is in charge. She is the member, her name is on the list of the top, she's the approval. She has to approve everything that the undersecretaries do.
No, the various
She's the one,
articles
it's up to her. She's the final arbiter. She's the decision maker. She has to agree to what her underlings do.
according to a bunch of articles I've read, it's most people who know this stuff say that something like this wouldn't rise to the level where she would have any involvement.
Her name was on the deal. I found you the signature in a previous show.
No, you found me.
I showed it to you 20 times.
No, you didn't. You showed me Hillary's signature on the plutonium deal.
Which is the deal they're referring to right now.
No, it's not. No, this has nothing to do with that pact at all. And you keep trying to say so, but you can't find anything in this article or the other article. It's
Okay.
plutonium and Hillary. It's uranium and CFIUS.
But she's the head of CFIUS.
But no, you can't find that either. You can't
The
find it.
Secretary of State is in charge of CFIUS.
All right, we're just going around and around. All right, enough. I'm leaving. I'm done with this because I'm just saying the same shit over and over. It's
All right.
all right.
Any parting words?
No. I don't think we should even air this show.
All right.